So back to school. In my early 20s, I went straight through from undergraduate to law school. So it wasn't really a back to school for me too much, but it was for a lot of my compatriots and colleagues in law school. You would think when, law school, most of the people were meeting age 25, 26. A lot of people, go out in the world and they'd be more mature, they'd be more dignified, be idealistic about that, at least at the age of 22, like I was. Not so much as I found out to my dismay, unfortunately. I had gone, and it turned out that a lot of people saw it as a chance to go back to an earlier form of school, high school, even middle school, elementary school, more or less. There was only about 500, 600 people in the school total. So the small little fishbowl, tiny, very controlled environment, I guess, gave off that kind of vibe. A lot of the time, there were just people, there was a person next to me, she decorated her locker, and people were doing funny things like that. And otherwise, I was pressured to take a cigarette for the first time in my life in law school. This is like after school special material, having me in law school. My last name is Scotty, and they're like, Scotty, take the cigarette, peer pressure, at the age of 22. And I finally took it, and there was a 31-year-old girl who said to me, now you're cool. So I was kind of glad I passed that threshold, but other silly things happen. It's all about who's going out with who's doing the horizontal whatever with who, there's all these silly rumors, just like high school. A little bit disappointing. But in any case, the centerpiece of my story took place in second semester, first year at 1Ls. There were 7 different sections in first year, divided into 7 sections, and we're all vying for different kind of unofficial titles, almost like different warring factions in like a George Martin Game of Thrones situation. It was going to be the most popular section, which one's going to be the smartest section. I belonged, incidentally, to the most obnoxious section. I like to believe that I myself was not one of that number. I was some kind of black sheep or something like that. And that would be Section B. Section A, with whom we shared a constitutional law class. Section A was known as the prim and proper, kind of look down your nose section. So we were in this one class session, second semester, first year constitutional law, and our professor was a very, very reserved, very, very mild guy, mild-mannered, and he's giving this lecture talking about Justices Scalia and Stevens, what have you. So we're sitting there, and not all my section's there, because some people were all playing Scrabble, other people they are there, but not there mentally. Their faces are rather pink, because they kind of got smashed before class. And in any case, we're going through the class, we're proceeding as usual, and the professor goes off on something about Scalia and Stevens, and all of a sudden it's basically saying, you hear this sound effect in the classroom as it's going on. He's saying the sense between Justice Scalia and Stevens were split because suddenly it just broke the wind. Somebody decided to part the wind with the less sanitary pair of cheeks. It was, basically a very flatulent act, so to speak. I don't want to spell it out any more than that. In any case, we had, again, this was a civil war between sections A and B. That was part of the really raucous, obnoxious section. And Section A was the very prim and proper section. And it really showed because a lot of the Section B people, exclusively for some reason, were looking at each other and they were early they're laughing, and the pink-faced kids were going to fall off their chair because they were drunk off their ass. Which is the only way, I guess, to go to law school courses, as I found out in retrospect. In a sense, I would have been better off, I suppose. But in any case, the Section A kids were just stoned. Their faces were stoned. Not stoned, but they were stoned, which is so you didn't know. So I came out of class, and I had a good friend of mine who's kind of different from me, but he was a really, really good kid. He was from New York. I can't really do a New York accent, but he basically says, "Hey, ripped ass!" Ripped ass, more or less. Kind of comes off like a Cockney accent for me. In any case, not exactly New York. But in any case, all the B kids were trying to figure out this mystery, and they kind of commissioned me and a couple other people to find out. Like I was looking at a little bit more of a mature Encyclopedia Brown all of a sudden, finding out who had committed this crime. And all the Section A people, though, started denying it. They were like, I didn't hear anything. It's kind of really, really strange. So in the end, it seemed like it was either, we came to the conclusion, tentative conclusion, hypothesis, that was either the Section B kids, there was an unnamed person who wouldn't step forward, who had a frame-up of Section A people, kind of throwing gas, like some kind of super spy might throw his or her voice stealthily, and we don't know. Or it could have been a cover-up by Section A, somebody had fallen out of grace and into flatulence. But the whole point is that, going back to school, just because one graduates doesn't mean one entirely grows up, no matter what the school level is. So, thank you.